Town of Ayer Planning Board for December 12th, 2018. Anybody want to make a motion about the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
Yeah, who's taking notes because Heather isn't here?
She's gonna watch the video.
I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
I'm going to point out one thing just in general. Alan Minoyan was going to come and speak to us about form-based code update. Alan's unable to join us this evening, so I'm going to strike that from the agenda with your permission.
Thank you.
Otherwise, there's no further discussion. All in favor of the agenda as adjusted?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very much. I would like to start up by welcoming Jonathan Krantz as a new
Welcome.
member of the planning board.
Thank you. I feel welcome.
Glad to have
Appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much. And I know I went out of order, but I wanted to get the agenda out of the way because I had to make a change. So, welcome, Jonathan. Secondly, we have minutes from the November 27th meeting in our packet. Some changes were offered by Member Diskin. And does anybody have any other changes they would like to, excuse me. I get a motion to approve
Yes.
them. Yes.
A motion to approve the minutes from the November 27th meeting.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Seconded.
Please? Thank you, Jonathan. It's moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Just a procedural issue. Can I vote on this even though I was not sworn at this meeting? At time for this meeting?
I do not believe so.
Tell you what we're going to do.
I've
We're going to
been
table
told
that
no
till later.
before.
Okay.
Thank you very
Fair
much.
enough. There you
We're
go.
going to table it till later. With that said,
Oh, good, we can vote on that now.
so next on our agenda.
Okay,
Oh,
well, we can come
he
back.
can add his,
We can come back to the minutes.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So, we're going by the clock in the room, Ken, not the clock that the rest of the world works with. So, next on the agenda is a public hearing for a special permit application for 13 Park Street, Ayer Family Pharmacy. I'd like to hear a motion,
Well,
please.
excuse me, Mr. Chair, where I will be leaving at some point early, would you like to vote on those minutes
Thank
now
you.
that we have Mr. Diskin?
Mr. Diskin, we
could
suspended the
actually
vote on the approval of the minutes
And I know he had.
because Jonathan had to recuse himself. But now that you're here, we can vote on the minutes. I understand the minutes were adjusted given your input to Heather. Have you had a chance to look at them?
Oh, wait a minute.
I looked at them.
Okay,
Check them one more time.
thank you. We were chomping at the bit to get going, Ken.
You're so proactive, that's awesome.
We just can't get enough.
Now that we have Jonathan.
So we just retrograded to the open discussion part of the agenda, of the minutes. We'll get it done.
Okay, so. Was it? There's a typo on the second page, which she didn't fix, unfortunately, but it's just a typo. Under the discussion where it says Vice Chairman Tillotson stated so forth, the second line, requested details on the lighting do not feel, so that there's
No, right.
something crazy there.
Got it, thank
If
you,
you want to
Alan.
address that or not, add a word.
Okay, if I may, I missed that, believe it or not.
Someone else missed it too, because after I told them, it's still there.
I know what happened.
Okay, I'm gonna make this suggestion if I may. In the second line, regarding lighting on the property and requested details on the lighting, period, end of sentence. The board does not feel a full photometric plan is needed for the site. Would that work for you all?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pen and ink them here and
Allowed
we'll,
to vote.
I will make sure this page gets to Heather. Okay, thank you, Ken. I missed that totally. That's something I would typically not miss.
Anybody else have any?
I don't think so.
on that?
Do you have any more, Ken?
No.
Thank you. So I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes as changed.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Can't. just.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Yeah.
Yes, abstain, please.
Abstain, yes.
Thank you
What do you
very
say to
much.
abstain? Aye, no, yes?
You can also
I do.
recuse, but we're going to abstain. So
Just
12,
abstain, yeah.
12, 18. Thank you very much.
What do you mean?
Okay, I will accept a motion, please, to open the public hearing for the special permit application for 13 Park Street, Ayer Family Pharmacy.
So moved.
A second, please.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Yeah,
We have to open it
Oh,
first.
sorry.
All in, hearing no discussion about opening the hearing.
I have.
All in favor? Yeah, I'm sorry?
Point of order. Do we need to read the legal notice before we?
Yes, I was going
Yeah.
to do that, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. I was just moving through, we were going to get to that. So, Mark?
Yes, okay. The Town of Ayer Planning Board will hold a public hearing at 6:15 PM on Wednesday, December 12th, 2018, in the first floor meeting room of Town Hall, 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass., regarding the application from Tracy Ezio, owner of the Ayer Family Pharmacy at 13 Park Street. The applicant is seeking a special permit from the Ayer zoning bylaw, section 915C1, to allow for up to 15% of the parking area to be located in front of the existing front building line of the newly proposed pharmacy. Application and plans can be viewed at the planning board and town clerk's office during their business hours. Any person interested or wishing to be heard on the proposed plan should appear at the time and place designated or provide written comment by December 6, 2018 to the Ayer Planning Office. Posted in the Neshoba Valley Voice on November 30th and December 7th.
Thank you very much, Mark. All in favor of opening the meeting?
Aye.
I'm sorry, open the hearing.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed? Great, we're open, let's go.
Okay, I will read the applicable section 915C1 very quickly and go to the plan just to describe visually what it's trying to do. Section 915C1 reads, quote, "Except in an industrial district or the healthcare services district, off-street parking spaces shall be located behind or beside the principal structure on the lot. No parking shall be located closer to the front lot line than the front line of the principal building except by special permit from the planning board. In granting a special permit, the planning board may impose design, surface treatment, landscaping, lighting, and other requirements to mitigate the visual impact of parking areas on views from the road, and may regulate the location of the remaining parking to achieve the purposes of this section 9.1, the parking section. In no event shall the planning board grant a special permit to locate more than 15% of the required off-street parking spaces in front of a principal building." So I will go to the plan briefly. And actually, there are portions of 2 spaces. So there are not actually 2 spaces in front of the building line. There are portions of 2 spaces, which the applicant can describe the square footage there. So when you extend the building line like that, you get this. The shaded areas are in front. The reason that they had to do this is the lot is extremely constrained. You have a lot line that actually goes through the building. The land to the east of that is owned by the town now. It's the rail trail parking lot and the future site of the parking garage. And the whole purpose of that 915C1 is basically, good planning practice is to, as much as possible, locate parking to the side or rear of the building, not in front of the building. However, given the extremely constrained nature of the site, there was no way to achieve 9 parking spaces, which I believe is needed for a pharmacy use, which is a high-intensity use for a retail use. So that is why they are proposing this and needing the special permit. If he were to try to put those 2 spaces in the back, he would have to dig into this bank here, and who knows what is in the soil there. That goes way back to the railroad days. There could be anything in there that we wouldn't want to uncover. Best to leave it undisturbed.
It's also beyond the property line.
Yeah.
Right. So,
very true.
yeah.
I'm glad you joined us, Jonathan.
Yes. Okay, and so my summary statement, is I guess my the advice of the board, in regards to special permit for section 915C1 for parking in front of the front building line, I believe that the high customer demand generated by a pharmacy use requires that the maximum number of parking spaces that can reasonably be accommodated be located on the site to ensure safe and efficient flow of traffic entering and exiting from Park Street. Any reduction in the number of parking spaces that would result from the special permit not being granted may result in traffic queues onto Park Street, potentially creating pedestrian and traffic safety conflicts issues. Therefore, I recommend that the planning board first open and hold the public hearing, make the findings as written in the staff report, which I can read later, and then vote to approve the special permit. Once the special permit has been granted, the planning board can then continue its deliberation on the site plan, which in its current form is contingent on the special permit, since the site plan reflects the parking configuration that you see before you. And so,
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Any further discussion
Yeah,
by the board?
I just want a point of clarification. I do believe, if we look at the engineer's drawing right over here, that part of the concern about the visual appearance of having some portions of the spaces forward of the line is addressed by the fact that there is intended to be landscaping in that front there. Is that correct? Or am I
yes, it is
misreading
correct. There is a rain garden proposed for the northerly corner, you might say, which will be, that will catch the runoff from the site, and that will have special plants that treat stormwater runoff. And there is conventional landscaping also along the front line, and there will be a grass strip in the location of the future sidewalk, which will be built along Park Street. Once Park Street eventually will become part of downtown through the form-based code process. And when the consultant wrote the bylaw, she was envisioning either something form-based code related or some mechanism by which that part of Park Street would be incorporated into the downtown business district. So, we're sort of in a gray area now where, even though they're in downtown business, that technically does not require parking. In order for their business to work, they need on-site parking. People cannot park on Park Street right now, and without parking, no customers would be able to get to their business.
Thank you. So, hopefully you've all had a chance to look through the comments from the different departments that were included in Mark's staff report previous to the meeting. If any questions about that, I'd be happy to take those on. However, there's one more staff report that was unavailable to us until today. I'm going to paraphrase it. It's from Charlie Schultz, our building commissioner. And in a sentence, Charlie feels that the spaces are fine. Any further discussion from the board?
The applicant have any?
I was going to ask the applicant, then we're going to ask if there's anybody in the room who'd like to speak about it. So, Jack?
Actually, Mark has explained the situation pretty well. I mean, I analyzed the site.
Excuse me, Jack?
Yes.
I got to ask you to state your name and who you
Oh,
are.
sorry. For the record, my name is Jack Wisniewski. I'm a registered professional civil engineer, and I own Cornerstone Land Consultants.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So we do have pavement on this side, but if you look at the requirements for parking spaces, you cannot have any legal parking spaces over here, although employees can park there, you have deliveries, you have a trash dumpster and so forth. So it's usable, but not as bona fide parking. We need the parking spaces according to the calculations. It turns out to be 9. We have 9, and that includes a handicap over here, which is wider, of course. And because of the fact that we have a handicap access this way, it takes up a lot of room. We have minimum clearance here, minimum clearance here, minimum clearance here, and as Mark mentioned, the lot line is right here. And so that we're really constrained in every direction. And so this makes sense. I did the calculations. It turns out to be 13.8%, which is less than 15, so that you are able to therefore grant a special permit for parking that's in the front yard. And so that's what we're requesting.
Thank you very much. Any questions from people in the room for the hearing? Thank you. Yes, Ken?
Jack, did you go back through the latest comments? Well, I meant this might be in the site plan portion.
Most of the comments regarding the site plan.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll
Yes.
hold off on that.
Yeah, I believe there's only one comment added to the site plan, but that's for the next piece.
Okay.
Right.
I actually think, Mark, unless you've got anything that we've missed at this point off the top of your head,
No?
that we are in a position where we can vote on the special permit application.
I would just mention that I believe we should read the findings
Right.
into the record, since they will support the.
Oh, I forgot we have to read things into the record. You can't just say,
Right.
here it is, thank you. Yes, please.
Right, I'll read
Thank
them
you,
as
Mark.
quickly as possible. The findings have to do with the special permit criteria in section 3.4 of the Ayer zoning bylaw, which has to do with special permits. The first criteria is social, economic, or community needs which are served by the proposal. And this is what I wrote. The planning board finds that the social, economic, and community benefits of a family pharmacy in the town of Ayer cannot be realized at this location without the provision of adequate on-site parking, despite the property's location in the downtown business district. Some flexibility in the location of these parking spaces is needed in order to provide safe and convenient access to the business, given the small and narrow lot and constrained nature of the site situated against the embankment supporting the rail trail parking lot and future parking garage. Therefore, the minimal extension of 2 of the 9 parking spaces up to the 15% limit.
Okay, so
I'm going to
that's,
change that to be up to the 15% limit on parking spaces. Situated in front of the front building line does not abrogate the spirit and intent of the Ayer zoning bylaw, section 915C1. This section authorizes the planning board to make such determinations with discretionary special permit granting authority.
Thank you.
Number 2 is traffic flow safety, including parking and loading. Planning board finds that in order to avoid traffic backing up onto Park Street and to optimize the movement of traffic entering and exiting the driveways and within the site itself, that such public safety concerns require that a sufficient number of off-street parking spaces be provided on site. Adequate and safe provision of off-street parking can only be provided if the special permit according to the Ayer zoning bylaw, section 915C1, is granted according to the applicant's special permit plan dated November 13th, 2018.
Thank you.
Criteria 3 is adequacy of utilities and public services. The planning board finds that the property is adequately served by town water, town sewer, and other services that will support the proposed business in this location. Number 4, neighborhood character and social structures. Planning board finds that granting the special permit for the proposed configuration of parking spaces will not have a detrimental effect on the neighborhood character and social structures and is in the public interest. Planning board also finds that the project furthers the objectives of the Ayer master plan, whereby redevelopment of the Park Street corridor is a community priority. Number 5, impacts on the natural environment. Planning board finds that granting the special permit for the proposed configuration of parking spaces will not have a detrimental effect on the natural environment, as the development site meets the town of Ayer's stormwater bylaw requirements as administered by the Ayer Department of Public Works. The site in general has undergone significant alteration under past commercial uses and does not contain significant natural habitat. No forest on the site. Number 6, potential fiscal impact, including impact on town services, tax base, and employment. Planning board finds that granting the special permit for the proposed configuration of parking spaces will not have a detrimental effect on town services, tax base, and employment. Indeed, the proposed business will be providing several new jobs in the area.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Now, we've got the findings ready. Yeah, I will ask once again, any comments from anybody who's here for the hearing? Seeing none, I'm going to go forward and ask for a vote.
we need a,
Sorry?
we need a,
I'm going to ask for the motion for a vote. Would someone like to make a motion,
I
please?
think, John?
I move to vote on the special, the acceptance of the special, authorization of the special permit?
Move to approve. Move to approve the application for
I
special
move to
permit.
approve the application for special permit.
Do I have it? For
For
13 Park Street, Ayer
13
Family
Park
Pharmacy.
Street.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Ayer Family Ayer Pharmacy, yes.
Unfortunately, we have to read it
No, I-
in at
my-
some point. I have a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just want to be clear that the motion includes the inclusion of the findings as read by the town planner representing the planning board.
Yes, thank you. Will you accept that as an amendment to your motion?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. So it has been moved and seconded. I'll call the vote. All in favor of granting the special permit for 13 Park Street, Ayer Family Pharmacy, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That moves us right along.
I'm going to excuse myself, Mr. Chair. I'm off to work. You have a good day.
Thank you very much,
The
Julie.
rest of the meeting?
Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you very much. So, continued site plan review for 1315 Park Street, Ayer Family Pharmacy.
Okay, I just have to get my,
Got to shift our pieces of paper around.
right, yes.
You know, while Mark's doing that, we do it to ourselves. This is boring because of all we have to do with reading of stuff. I keep hoping it will change, probably not in my lifetime. And I shouldn't call it boring, excuse me, it's not. No, it's not boring.
Okay,
I
for
find it
the,
fascinating.
okay, so for the site plan, I'll reiterate what has occurred since the last planning board meeting on November 27th. We did receive a comment from Mark Wetzel, the superintendent of public works, who recommended the following condition, which I have included in the conditions for later. This reads, "The proposed island around the utility pole near the north entrance shall be constructed with vertical granite curbing to protect the utility pole from vehicle damage." So that's a comment from DPW. He was satisfied that all of the stormwater and other site physical concerns have been
Engineering
addressed.
concerns.
Engineering concerns.
Thank you very much.
I did contact the applicant's engineer several days ago to reiterate the importance of having full cutoff lighting fixtures, both on the building and within the parking lot to provide for public safety and security. And he agreed that, he would make a note that the lighting plan needed to be revised to incorporate full cutoff lighting according to the section of our bylaw, section 9.3C, that has to do with lighting.
Thank you.
And I understand he may be discussing that a little bit later. Once we get to that, I did prepare some conditions of approval that have to do with all of the various site plan issues. I'm trying to see if there's something else that I may have missed. I think lighting, the pole.
And signs.
Oh, signs, right. Yes, I also recommended that in order to make sure the traffic flows correctly and people know where to turn, that there's a keep right sign installed at the northerly entrance, so people, there's an island, so most people will know that they have to keep to the right of that. So I recommended that. And also for the employee parking area, I recommended a sign that would say, what, employees
Deliveries and employees
deliveries
only.
only or something.
Got it.
Right.
Good idea.
So I believe those are all of the remaining issues that were discussed at the last meeting. If the applicant's engineer would like to discuss those.
Yes, so this is the plan we saw before. Having been here before, I have a gift for the board, if you're willing to accept it, that you can use in future meetings.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
sure we can. Is it valued more than $20?
No, I don't think it is, so I think I'm just gonna leave it here. We don't have to even discuss it any further.
Oh, the giant paper clip?
Giant paper clip.
What happens when you put a couple of engineers in a room? You finally get a solution, Jack.
So, lighting, of course, was the big issue. I've added a note here and in a note over here that says all existing non-conforming lighting shall be removed or replaced.
Thank you.
So that if they can modify it, they can. If they can remove it and replace it with something else, they'll do that. Or just remove it and come up with another alternative. But anything that's non-conforming and glaring,
Yep.
it will be removed.
Thank you.
Then I added pole lamps here. So it could have been 2 pole lamps here and 2 wall lamps here. That's a good option too. But I showed that these would be full cutoff lights, and I added a note here that says that. It refers to the specifications that the pole can't be any higher than 15 feet. I also added a note that says that, and I didn't want to restrict them to putting a specific light because they have some choices to make. But I said that they needed to submit their catalog cut to the planning board for approval prior to installation.
Thank you.
And I would suggest, I don't know if the full board wants to vote on that at the time, that just kind of delays with meetings.
Excuse me, Jack, may I ask a question? can Charlie make that decision as a building commissioner?
Mark.
Or
Yeah,
Mark?
well, yes.
Yeah,
both of
so
us, yes.
I don't want you to wait 6 weeks
So
No, yeah.
for me to look at a cut sheet.
that was
Yeah,
gonna be my.
I do it every day, so it's,
No,
That was gonna be my request.
let's find a way to make that work, okay?
Yeah, in fact-
And I really appreciate you putting the poles in on the far side. The time to do it's now before we pave the parking lot.
Right,
So,
exactly.
you know, the cost of cutting is huge, so thank you.
And I don't know, if Tracy had an opportunity to talk to Tom Gibbons, but I've talked to Tom, and I know he has a lighting issue over here. He kind of wishes that there was some lighting there. These two poles could help him out too, so they could probably coordinate something there to take care of it.
Neighbors helping neighbors, go figure.
Exactly. So that takes care of the lighting issue. The other thing, I have, the other plan that I modified is this one here, which is the basic site plan. And really not much to see from where you are here, but what I did is I added, there was a sign over here that I had on there before, but I changed the wording of it to be deliveries of employees only. So people know that this is not a place for people to park for visiting. And I also added, at Mark's suggestion, a keep right sign here, and also one on the other side, so as they're leaving, they'll obviously see the island, and most people don't keep to the right, but it'll say keep right. So coming in and out, there'll be keep right signs. And I added a note here that says vertical granite
Thank you.
curving around that island is suggested by Mark Wetzel. So I believe that takes care of all the issues that people had requested. And I think we're in good shape.
Thank you. My notes were granite curving, and the plan still said bituminous on the plans, but you made that correction?
Well,
On
the
the
two is
transition.
on other curving.
Excuse me, but the arrow pointed to both, and it was not specifically mentioned as vertical granite.
Yes, and I
So, yep.
specifically pointed that island out.
Thank you very much. And I want to say thank you very much, Tracy, for the lights. No, I do,
No,
I
I don't
do.
want anyone
It-
falling in the park, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of reasons for lights,
No,
yeah,
I
exactly.
know.
And,
Yes.
yeah,
It'll look good when it's done.
it will. And that's, yep. Mark, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yes, I have site plan findings, just like I
Okay.
read the special permit ones earlier, I can read the site plan findings. I also, for Jonathan's edification and to know how we operate going forward, when we get to the conditions of approval, if we get to those tonight, there is a general set of conditions which will refer to all the plan sets, the latest plan set. You know, we reference the dates of those, and the lighting plan, and the landscaping plan, and all that. So that goes into the standard conditions of approval, you know, that state that, you know, no construction can occur until you get your permits and all this sort of thing.
Right.
And what I will be reading later into the record are the special conditions which have to do with the specific site. They go beyond what can be shown on a plan usually. So.
Okay.
So I will read the site plan findings in section 3.54 of the air zoning bylaw. The first one, the planning board shall approve a site plan if it determines that, number one, the site plan meets all applicable requirements of this bylaw. And my statement is, the planning board finds that the proposed use meets the requirements of the air zoning bylaw, taking into consideration the waivers that have been granted previously, and the special permit to allow some deviation from the parking configuration specifications of section 915C1 of the air zoning bylaw. And then there's, given the location, type, and extent of land use proposed by the applicant, the design of building form, building location, egress points, grading, and other elements of the site plan could not reasonably be altered to reduce clearing and grading on the site, reducing the volume of cuts and fills, removing trees, altering stone walls, areas of wetland vegetation displaced, and the extent of stormwater flow increased from the site, soil erosion, or the threat of air or water pollution. And I wrote after that one, the planning board finds that clearing and grading on the site have been minimized and that stormwater and pollution impacts have been reduced in a manner that meets the requirements of AIR's stormwater management bylaw. There are no wetland or natural habitat impacts as a result of this development. B, reduce the risk of groundwater contamination from on-site wastewater disposal systems or operations on the premises involving the use, storage, handling, or containment of hazardous substances. Planning board finds that due to the business being served by town sewer and not being a generator of hazardous waste, that this criteria has been met. C, improve pedestrian, bicycle, or vehicular safety, both on the site and egressing from it. Planning board finds that the provision of space for a future sidewalk along Park Street, as well as the separate customer and employee parking areas, provides adequate safety for the traveling public using several modes of transportation. D,
Excuse me, Mark, if you don't
Yes.
mind. If I remember correctly, the plans also show a bike rack.
yes, they do.
Please note it in your findings.
Okay, yes, I will note, the
Yes.
plan provides for a bike rack, or provides a bike rack.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll add that to the type list. D, improve access to each structure for fire and other emergency service equipment. Planning board finds that the proposed development, by delineating parking spaces and providing a turnout in front of the building, will improve access for fire and emergency services. And, there's a turnout in the back. and, yeah. E, reduce visual intrusion by controlling the visibility of parking, storage, or other outdoor service areas viewed from the public way where premises residentially used or zoned. Planning board finds that the proposed development, by providing parking to the side of the building and screening such parking as much as possible through landscaping, will improve the appearance of the site as viewed from public ways. There is no adjacent residentially zoned property. The surrounding zoning is all business. F, improve building design or scale or site design to strengthen compatibility with surrounding properties. Planning board finds that the proposed improvements to the existing building will strengthen compatibility with the surrounding properties in this part of Park Street. G, reduce glare from headlights, reduce light trespass from luminaires onto adjacent lots or the street, or light overspill into the night sky. Planning board finds that the revised lighting details received on December,
12th.
I will put the 12th, yep, 2018, are in conformance with section 9.3C of the Ayer zoning bylaw. And the
Good.
little note
Good.
has been fulfilled. So
So you can strike that note.
there's only two more findings here. Avoid the removal or disruption of historic, traditional, or significant structures or architectural elements. Planning board finds that historic, traditional, and significant structures have been retained in the redevelopment of this site. You may want to point to some of the reused
Granite?
We use the
Granite.
granite, we use the, we call it recycled granite or reclaimed granite in the front
Yep.
of the building.
Okay. And the last finding has to do with reduce obstruction of scenic views from publicly accessible locations. Planning board finds that this project will not result in the obstruction of any scenic views. And those are all the
Ken,
criteria.
both you and I found that humorous, didn't we? Fantastic. Thank you, Mark, for reading the findings. Any further discussion from the board?
Yeah, there's just one note on screening. The screening we talk about is only talking about the parking lot, but should we add a note in there that, you know, I want to say HVAC equipment, things like that would be screened as well, or other types of, beyond the parking, there's other items that are going to be screened, because I think you
Right.
offered to put a,
Right, and I did
Right.
put a note in the plan.
Right.
Yeah.
but I was thinking he should delineate it that we are getting some screening there.
Yeah, I could mention, I could add
I
to
think
F
it was
that,
the gas tanks, and I believe there are
Yeah,
propane
it's
tanks
just-
behind the
it's-
building.
I would call it mechanical equipment.
The
Okay.
mechanical equipment behind the
okay,
building.
like
mechanical equipment has been screened from view
Yeah, something
by
like
by virtue of its location.
Well, not by virtue of its location, they're making an effort to screen
Oh,
it.
okay. Mechanical equipment has been screened from view.
That's adequate, Jack?
Yes.
Thank you, Ken.
Does the applicant have any,
Yeah, no,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah,
should
just
we
like-
ask the
I
applicant if
was
they have
thinking-
a comment on
I
the
was actually
findings?
thinking through the mechanics of something, and I think I have an answer. Applicant, anything you want to add? Would like to add?
No, we're good.
I want to say I appreciate you sending the new plans along. They were actually nice to look through and see. Everything seems to be on there. I missed the piece about the 2 poles, but I think that was added today.
This week.
Perfectly fine. We're actually getting so good that we're getting materials 4 or 5 days ahead of the meeting.
Not really.
Well, we're getting there, Ken. We're moving. So, okay, thanks. Any comments from people in the room? Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask a protocol question. We have a quorum. We are in a situation, let me explain this to the applicant the best way I know. Tracy, I'm going to explain this carefully. Because we have a new member of the board, the new member of the board was not here in the beginning, okay? He is not able to vote on this. However, I'm going to ask the question. We have a quorum of the board in the room. Should this pass with a majority of the current quorum, would that be sufficient to accept the site plan review?
I think it is.
I believe you need three votes to,
3 is a quorum, 2 becomes.
okay.
Majority.
Well,
A
you know
majority
what,
of the
I
quorum.
need to
So can I do this,
find the
guys?
rules and regulations.
I
Do you have the rules and regs?
I looked at it
No,
pretty quickly,
Riggs.
and I was unable to come up with a satisfactory answer, to be honest with you, Mark.
Oh,
I couldn't
okay.
convince myself we couldn't do it. Here's where I am. I'd like to move you forward. Okay, which is where it's a numbers game for us. I don't think that we are breaking any. You can check mark, but I don't think we're breaking any major rules because we do have a quorum and we can vote.
Mhm.
Should the vote be 2 to anything, it's a majority of the quorum approves the plan.
Mhm.
Okay. Should we find out that this vote is illegal or not an official vote, I'm sorry about the bad news. We might have to have you back at the next meeting. Okay? But I think that's just putting it on the table. Okay? Is that acceptable to the board?
It is to me. I
Thank you.
believe that this has come up before.
Where-
We determined that a majority of the board present was adequate to make a vote.
That has been my understanding since we had the last issue that came up, and I think I was sitting on the board when that happened.
Yeah.
And it was not challenged. So,
I think that's true for site plan, for special permit, you need a.
Special permit, you need the
Right,
supervisor.
yeah, that's why
and we had the
need a
specific number.
majority.
We
Yeah.
actually impinged upon somebody's job in order to get that done.
Right.
And and everyone prepared themselves, which was really good. So, with that being said, the chair will make a motion, if I may. Or would you like to make the motion, Ken?
No,
You go ahead and do it.
I thought that we needed to consider the conditions of the special conditions of the approval before we made. No, we
Waivers?
can make the motion, I guess, and then.
Yeah, you can make the motion first, and I can read these special conditions.
Yeah.
But, the applicant may have some comments on the conditions.
Correct,
The
right.
findings are more general, but the conditions will impact what they actually do, so.
Mhm, exactly. So, go ahead and make a motion.
No.
Okay. Chair will move to accept and close the site plan review for 1315 Park Street, Ayer Family Pharmacy, with the conditions to be discussed.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I guess.
Let's do the conditions.
I got.
Go ahead.
Okay. and we'll
Actually,
read-
Ken's got a point. Ken has a
First.
point.
Oh, sure.
So, the motion that you've made so far includes the findings that we have talked about. Those are
Yes.
included
Right.
in the motion.
Yes.
And then now we're going to discuss the conditions of the approval, the special conditions. We know what the
Yes.
standard conditions basically are
Yep.
included.
Mhm.
What else did I have? The important part to me is that the revised drawings that we vote on are
Mhm.
referred to either in the special conditions or someplace, so that we understand that we got drawings at the last minute here,
Yes.
and that we approve your correct revised drawings with the correct date. That's my concern. So I have no apprehensions about the findings, I have no apprehensions about the conditions, and I thank you very much for letting us all go through this process together and come to, I think it's going to be a good conclusion for everybody. So I just want to be careful that we give you the vote on the right set of drawings, so there's no apprehension that you got it on what you expect.
So with that said, Jack, date and revision?
Okay, the revised plan, which I have submitted, I have a copy here as well. And these are, I've also stamped these just in case we didn't have those here tonight. But
Okay.
all these plans, every page has been dated December 12th, 2018.
Okay. It's kind of at the last minute, but it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but what those reflect are the comments of the DPW director and myself as far as the lighting and the other issues.
And just to make sure that you have all that information referenced in the plan, the revision says, see revision notes, sheet DN1.
Okay.
And on DN1, which is the detailed sheet, all the revision notes for all the revisions that have been made are here. And these revision notes all refer to Mark's comments in my
Transmittals.
Right, so that those are incorporated into these plans.
I'm happy with that. So.
Thank you. Yeah. Don't stop being you. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Eh,
I don't think I could.
No,
No way I can
no,
change.
Ken, and I agree with Ken.
For Ken to stop being Ken.
No, but Ken, and we had the same discussion with the last applicant in the last meeting.
Yeah.
Because month and year is a challenging thing to work on. And we really are working hard to get away from last minutes, and we appreciate, I think we caused this one to a certain extent. But
No,
the applicant has been wholly accepting of it and willing to make the changes. So, motion with findings and conditions. Mark, do you need to read the findings?
Yes, I will read the conditions.
The conditions, I'm sorry, thank you.
Special conditions.
Mhm.
First has to do with signage. A lot of this we just discussed, but I want to make sure that I get the language correct in terms of the latest plan set. Signage, prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy by the building commissioner, the applicant, owner, I always say both, shall install signage indicating that the southerly parking area is to be used solely by employees, deliveries, trash pickups, and contractors. The owner applicant shall install signage meeting the standards of section 9.55, directing customers to the northerly parking area, which you have done. A keep right sign shall be installed at the northerly site entrance to ensure that customers keep to the right of the telephone pole island. Number 2, lighting. All lighting used on the site shall conform to the lighting standards found in section 9.3C of the Ayer zoning bylaw. Lighting in conformance with these standards must be installed and operational prior to the granting of a certificate of occupancy for the business by the building commissioner. Landscaping, number 3. All landscaping, both around the site and in the bio-retention cells, rain gardens, shall be installed to the satisfaction of the Air Planning Board by June 30th, 2019. I picked a date that was into the summer a little bit to allow vegetation. We can discuss that later if you wish. The owner of the property shall be responsible for keeping the landscaping in good order and shall replace any plantings that fail within a month of such failure. Number 4, the proposed island around the utility pole near the north entrance shall be constructed with vertical granite curbing to protect the utility pole from vehicle damage. That's from the DPW. Number 5, all customer parking spaces shall be striped prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy by the building commissioner. And number 6, the location of the proposed sidewalk strip shall be planted with grass seed or a lawn mix so as to reserve the space for the future sidewalk construction in compliance with Ayer's Complete Streets guidelines. And I reserve a space for other in case there's something that I may have missed.
All those items have been incorporated in the plan.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Further discussion?
Yes.
Concerns?
Yeah, so are you comfortable with the June 30th, 2019 date?
Oh, yeah, sure. I think there'll be time, the previous month even, to get planting. As soon as the ground warms up, they should be able to do that. In fact, they would like to get the site done very quickly so that it would be ready to go even by then.
It's a pretty wide open statement. guaranteed for a month, it's usually a year on new plantings.
I
And it
think-
comes, you get that from
I
the
think what he's
supplier.
asking for is when it's
When it
identified
has
as being failed, to be
Yeah,
replaced within
yeah.
a month of the failure.
If you've
Oh.
noticed the dead
My error.
plants.
Yeah, no, I read it
Yes.
the same way and then I had to read it
If there's
again.
any plantings
And
that
I don't want to
fail-
be the guy who finds out when they failed. We trust it will.
And,
Yeah,
okay,
somebody will let us know, they'll drive by and say, there's a dead tree.
and if such things
Thank you.
fail, any plantings, okay, I get it.
Yeah, we gotta get out of
I-
the plant police.
The only thing I might add is on the lighting paragraph and on the number 6, that I'd put it in accordance to the standards, but also in accordance with the approved site plan drawings.
Oh, okay.
So add the
Standards.
statement that it ties not to just the zoning or our sections of the zoning, but also to the drawings that they submitted.
Okay. Yep, with these standards and.
So that'd be applied to
and
2 and
approved
6.
Site plan
Or it could be any of them, actually, but
Yeah.
sheets, yes. And approved with the most recent or latest final site plan sheets.
yeah, the approved site plan drawings.
Yep, okay, now add that to 6, yep. Okay, I will add those to both.
So if we,
Having a dance upstairs.
that's the historical commission warming up. Just teasing.
Oh, we know, thank you.
Expansion and contraction,
Yeah,
amazing. Somebody
Anything
think they
else?
could bleed the air, you know, you can help them with that stuff.
yeah.
Um, if The decision, if we vote on it tonight,
Mhm.
and the decision gets typed up with the conditions and so forth, that then comes back to our next meeting to sign.
Correct.
But it's, I always have this question, so bear with me. The approval period includes an opportunity for an appeal.
Yes.
Does the appeal, and I'm always hung up on, does the appeal start tonight, or does it start after we sign the decision?
No, I believe it starts from the date of approval, so which would be
That's
tonight.
always my,
I
I mean,
believe we operated in the past as when the approval happens right now.
okay,
Right, and
Should we approve it, excuse me, should the approval go through, it would be
Right.
December 12th.
I know I looked that up earlier, and I forget exactly how many days were
It's
in the
20
appeal
days.
period, but
Everything's 20 days.
yeah, something like
20 or
that.
21
Yeah.
days, yep. Okay. Any further questions, Mr. Krantz?
I don't, I'm impressed with the thoroughness of this.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded, I believe. We've had discussion. Any further discussion? Any comments from the assembled people in the room? With not, I'd like to call for the vote. All in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chairman says aye. Opposed? Abstains? One abstain. You have to speak so that they can hear you.
One abstention.
Thank you. In Massachusetts, don't know what. At which point, I'll take a motion to close the hearing for site plan review for 1315 Park Street, Ayer Family Pharmacy.
I'll make a motion to close the meeting for site plan review
Thank you.
Seconded.
for the Ayer Family Pharmacy on 1315 Park Street.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Any discussion? Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much,
Okay,
guys.
so
Good.
the plan was approved.
So, can I ask two questions? The
Yes.
one, when do you think you'll know whether this is a legal vote?
Tomorrow.
Very soon.
Yeah.
yes.
Second question would be, the appeal period is generally time when abutters who may have been at the meeting may oppose something that was done. And since we've had no abutters, we don't expect, although there could be opposition, we don't know.
Mhm.
But would we be allowed to proceed at our own risk during that period?
You're asking an interesting question.
Uh-oh.
That's why I want to get the answer to when that's why I wanted to get the answer to when it
Right,
actually
it's-
starts.
I think we would be remiss if we answered that question either way.
Yeah.
We would be taking on a responsibility that we can't take.
And I think that question would be better directed to Charlie Schultz.
Yes, I was
zoning
going to say that,
adminis-
yeah.
He's the zoning enforcement officer.
Okay, that's
Exactly.
very good.
I
Yeah.
think it moves from him, we've done our thing, and that kind of moves over to
Yes.
Charlie.
Okay, well,
And then,
I just mentioned that too, because if we were to discuss this with him, and if he were to say, well, go ahead, we don't want the planning board to be upset that we're stepping on someone's toes and not following procedure.
we appreciate the concern. Thank you very much. You'll also need to get us a copy of plans with Mylar so we can sign it and stuff like that
Right,
also.
Mylar.
yes.
Usually not my lot for these types,
For site plans?
A&R recordable.
We'll double check, we'll
Yeah,
double check.
I'll double check if we need my last.
Believe it or not, I don't
I'm
have
not
my cheat sheet
sure.
with me, but,
Yeah.
yeah, we need to set, we
I
need
mean,
to
I
set.
have never
plans
done
to
a
sign.
site plan in my lot.
Do we have plans here for us to sign this evening?
You can, these, as I mentioned, these are another set of plans that I brought with me tonight, same ones I gave to Mark.
Do they have a signature?
I signed and stamped all of these
Oh,
plans,
okay.
except for the cover. So you can have these and.
Actually, I think Heather, for site plan, she prepares an approval letter, which will have the conditions and all the
With
findings.
the
and all.
decisions and
And
stuff that
then
we sign.
there'll be a space below that on that sheet of paper, not on the plan itself to sign.
Okay.
With subdivisions and A&Rs, there's a plan sheet, a Mylar that's
Yes.
signed to record in the
Absolutely, yeah.
registry of deeds.
Anything that's recorded at the registry of deeds
Right.
has to be my lot. These won't be recorded at the
Right,
registry of deeds.
so I believe, yeah, the signature will be on the decision. And Heather has, and she told me today, she has, I think, 14 days to write it up formally. So
Yes.
that's, by the next meeting on January 8th, it'll be ready for signature.
Okay. I think if you check your regulations, you may find that the time review, rebuttal period, or what do we call it?
Appeal.
stop-
The
appeal
appeal
period.
period?
I believe it starts when you hand that to the clerk.
I thought it started until it's signed, and the decision is signed and handed to
I'm
the
pretty
clerk.
sure, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
It's just-
Couple questions, Lynn, to get an answer for you.
Yeah, we'll look into
And I will ask Mark to make sure he reaches out to you if it's impactful. Fair enough?
Very good, well, thank you.
We're entering into the holidays, and we're trying to get stuff done. Thank you.
You've been very thorough, which I like, I'm an engineer, but it's been a pleasure working with this problem. Really has.
Thank you.
Thank you for the updates and staying in contact with Mark to get the process done.
Okay. I'm gonna leave out, on your agenda, Ken, it says, discussion Illinois and form-based code update. Alan's unable to make it to the meeting this evening, but I will use this moment to let you know that Alan plans to join, be on our agendas almost every meeting
Great.
going forward into the spring because of the desire to get form-based code in front of the town meeting for the first special town meeting of the year. Okay? And I've asked Alan, and in your package, you see a piece of paper with a colored square on the front.
Right, yep,
That's just for informational purpose. That's from Alan. That's a quick outline of how he's going to proceed.
right.
And I've asked him to flesh it out for us and let us know what he needs by meeting evening so we can plan for it and keep it moving forward. Okay? Brings us to the discussion of the Ayer Devon's Jurisdiction Disposition Study Committee.
Yes.
I'm in the dark on this one.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have all the details, but I do know that this is being formed at the behest of the Board of Selectmen, and each town that is part of the Devon's area, Shirley and Harvard.
Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to coming
Also will
by.
be forming their own Devon's disposition committees. I'll say that fast. I do know, however, that according to the structure of such committee, the planning board is being requested to have 2 members on this committee. There'll be a member of the Board of Selectmen, planning board, I think a few other boards.
Members at large.
It's
4 or
a
5.
fairly large committee.
It is, yeah.
And so I was a little surprised that the planning board, I think, has the most number of members from any one board that is recommended for this committee. So, Robert informed me that the planning board should designate 2 people to serve on this committee. I am not sure when the committee will start meeting, but I imagine sometime very early in 2019.
Okay. So I'm going to thank you very much. I assume this has been brought about by the current activity around, what's the square over there?
Pittsburgh.
Vicksburg Square and stuff like that. Questions?
Yes, I have a question. What is Ayer's interest in this position of Fort Devens? Could you clarify that? Oh, I know, I've opened it up, okay, but.
That's
we
quite
need
all
to
right.
know. We need to-
In a nutshell, and I'm sure someone in the room will help me out because I've been in town a short period of time, and Mary or Ruth, do you want to take a shot?
Yeah.
I think that's the goal of this new, yet again, another disposition committee, is to find out what we want this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from what I understand from the meeting, because chapter 498 says that you have to have this disposition, and I think it's
2029?
23, or 33.
33.
33, okay.
So somebody decided that we should get a preliminary group together to start deciding now. I just laughed because I said, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's face it, you know, at the age of some of us, we're going to be hopefully looking down, watching you people.
Even if we aren't, we probably won't care.
Exactly, so.
At 2039, I can't even, that's 21 years out.
But decide what?
You'd have to,
So,
have you read any of the history?
Let's back it up a second.
Oh, okay.
So, I have a feeling this is interrelated, and I may be talking way off base, but Devens, anything that happens at Devens has to go through the filter of the three communities that are part of Devens: Harvard, Ayer, and Shirley. And up until recently, the communities never got together on anything. Just last year, they finally had a super town meeting where it was passed in all three towns to allow a professional arts building to be built over there and a age-qualified housing area. So what's happening now is mass development, correct?
But
Yep.
Yes. Go ahead, Ken. Feel free.
the disposition of Devens goes back to the chapter, it must go back to 1993, which was a 40-year plan.
Yeah.
So,
Until Arbor Day in 1996.
so it was a 40-year project. Somewhere towards the end of the project, and this, like she said, this is the second or third committee, right? And there's been some really high-end arguments about this
Yeah.
and how it's going to resolve, whether the towns get back their original acreage or and historical, I think they call it historical boundaries, whatever the
Right.
term is,
Yes.
things along those lines. But it seems to me a brand, it's just popped up all of a sudden. I venture to say that it's not connected to Vicksburg Square.
It just happenstance that Vicksburg Square has been coming up again, because my
Right.
understanding, Vicksburg Square has popped up a couple times in the last decade. And depending on who you speak with, who was involved in that project before,
Yeah.
it's greatest things in sliced bread, or it's just their way of,
Right.
A bad deal for
disposition,
everybody,
This
so.
seems to be, I'm not sure who would have prompted the disposition, unless it was the Board of Selectmen, but it sounds to me like it might be a little bit premature, but the long-term goal is so complicated that it may take years,
yeah.
to get it resolved. How
And I
that,
think, Jeff, if I might, I think mass development always hoped it would be the 352nd community.
Yes.
Right.
And what's funny is, having not lived here until just recently, that is the expectation outside of here, that Devens will stand on its own 2 feet at the end of the process.
that could be part of the
And
disposition.
that could be the disposition also. And what happens is you start getting into, well, who's the police force, who's the fire department? And they have very different police and fire than we do. So with that being said, Mark, I think we probably, 2 things, 2 comments I'll make. One is we probably need a little bit more information.
Okay,
Number 1. Number 2, we're not at full strength at the table tonight.
right,
And I'm happy to volunteer the folks who aren't here, but that's not the right way to go
yes.
in building a good team here. So, if it's okay with you, let's let Robert know that we'll think about it,
Yep,
and he can, by all means, can reach out to me. I think we need to find out what the expectation is of time commitments also.
right. How many?
I'm very wary of taking on more, but I'm very interested in taking on this, so.
Mhm.
Thank you. Brings us to the town planner update on our agenda.
Okay,
Take your time, write your notes.
my main update is, just as Alan will be informing the board about form-based code, as time goes forward in 2019, I will be again thinking about, both the minor zoning changes that we need to make to clarify some areas that are a little bit ambiguous. As well as I have been directed by the administration to write a recreational marijuana bylaw that would address all the other types of facilities that go under that heading. So, by the special town meeting in 2017, the town limited the number of recreational retail facilities to 1, which is 20% of the liquor stores in town, and that's how you can do that. So we know that we're going to have 1 retail facility. That may be it, but there's the other facilities, including growing and processing, distribution, the edibles, the transportation, there are all these things. They all have a different set of regulations in the Mass General Law now. There's a whole new code of mass regs with that. The Cannabis Control Commission has their rules, so I'm going to be collecting all this information and forming a study group to draft a bylaw over the next few months that can be most likely voted on at a special meeting after the normal Springtown meeting, which is in May. So because of the complexity of this and the controversy that goes with that topic, they felt that that topic shouldn't be lumped in with the budget and all the other standard warrant articles at the regular town meeting, since it would drag on the meeting for 5 hours or so. So we're going to hold a special meeting for that, as well as the form-based codes and any other large zoning issues that might come up. So stay tuned. I will have more information as we go forward. I'm drafting a schedule now. It's subject to a little bit of change. I'll be forming a committee that consists of, myself, the selectman representative, somebody else on the planning board may want to be on that, somebody from the police.
I will volunteer for that committee to help work with Mark and the other people that you described. So, yeah, I'd be more than delighted. So what is this committee called?
It'll be, the Recreational Marijuana Bylaw Working Group is the sexy name I gave it. But, basically,
Zoning bylaw group?
Right. There'll be people, like the police, fire, public works,
There's a public safety component, there's a small public works component to it.
Right, yeah, there's a lot that will go into this that
We
needs to
also,
be considered.
Previous to Mark joining us here in town, and I'm the only one sitting at the table, Ruth can bear this out for me, we had a small subgroup of the planning board a few years ago that worked into this. Sue Kennedy led it up. I did a bunch of work on it. Sue had Sue did some work looking into Colorado and how they handle stuff. I have a family member who was in the industry, and at the time, no longer. And so we were just trying to figure out what was going on. I don't think anybody expected what happened in Leicester to happen. What happened in Northampton has been a very different experience. Salem's taken a very different approach to it.
Right.
So you were going to say something.
All I have to say is, remember Krispy Kreme? I think
Come and gone.
Well, it's not just that. It's just that that first week, I remembered clearly there were traffic jams and the novelty. There's a lot of issues involved, but I think we have to recognize that part of what happened was a confluence of novelty and also the fact that there were only 2 recreational centers to open. There was nowhere else to go.
I actually think that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts was a victim of their own decision-making process through that. And I would hope that it's not going to happen like this. As Mark said, we can grant 1. You may or may not be aware of this, but because we have a dispensary in town, a dispensary gets first crack. The dispensary has been involved in a siting of it, which may or may not make sense. It takes it out of town and stuff like that. So I think there's the bylaw piece of it, which is very important, and then there's the practical application of it, which is something totally different.
Right. Yep.
But I think there's a need to get to it sooner versus later.
Right.
So,
From what I understand from the town manager's office, people call every week, mostly looking for growing facilities. It's not necessarily the retail outlets,
Yeah.
but the people that want to grow.
we've got facilities here. We've got
That's
square
Water and
footage.
sewer.
We have water,
Industrial
sewer, and
zoning.
square footage.
And industrial land, so, The types of facilities that we're talking about are not the type that necessarily will bring in lots of traffic, like the
Exactly.
retail facilities.
And if you look at the first 5 days in Leicester and Northampton, $225 million in sales.
Yeah, that's-
$250 million in sales, 5 days.
I have a question for Mark.
Yes.
Big tax revenue at 20%.
When we did the big zoning overhaul, of course, we brought a consultant in.
Right.
Is there a consultant in this type of a work that should be?
I don't think we'll need that. When I first started looking into this, when I knew that, they were interested in it, I was looking for models and other bylaws, like 8 months ago, and there was hardly anything out there. Now, I've collected like 10 bylaws that other towns have passed. The Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is a really good model
Yeah, they've done a pretty good
that
job.
lays out everything. So finally, there are some things that we can look at and
Okay.
borrow from, so.
Could I ask a favor? Could you please distribute to the members of the board, the planning board, the Pioneer Valley?
Yes.
Either send the link or
In
send the
fact,
stuff.
that one is one of the better ones that I
Yeah.
found. Yes.
And those guys are located in the Pioneer Valley. Is that
Nettie?
the way I take it? Southampton and...
Northampton.
Yeah,
is-
Northampton,
Northampton's
excuse me.
got
By the
one.
Deuce.
And for all the things Northampton is, it's got a lot of bright people living out there.
Sure
Yeah,
does.
I'm
Right,
sure.
yeah,
So-
the 5 colleges, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Mark, on the announcements?
Nope, that's it for now.
Okay. And under administrative announcements, we have new business and board reorganization. I have nothing in the way of new business. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up in the way of new business?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Diskin. Go ahead.
I'd like to add a line that says old business ahead of new business,
Okay.
which I think we should have, because
Yeah.
we sometimes have new business, but we don't finish it.
Okay.
So then it becomes old business.
Okay.
So I have a concern that goes back quite a few months, so I have to challenge Mark again on this one, and the DPW, and whoever might have control of this. The project on Central Street, which has been digging a huge hole in the ground. To the best of my knowledge, I asked this question a long time ago. They require, in our town, a NIPD's permit for that level of disturbance, for the ground, for the stormwater. And I never got an answer. Nobody ever got me the
Oh.
permit.
No.
No one got back to this board with a response. And I've asked the question independently on my own to DPW. But I want to know. I think this board is entitled to know how we administer a bylaw that we have on our general bylaws in the town of Ayer, which is that NIPD's permit, a NIPD's groundwater control. And what really throws this up through a loop is the typical NIPD's requirement starts at like 40,000 square feet. It's typically for a larger
1 acre.
project.
1 acre or
roughly.
larger typically. I know, an acre's 42,000, but
Right, roughly around
we
an
go
acre.
with 40,000.
But the subtitles or the sub-requirements go into grading and angles and the slope of the land. So this may not qualify under the very first item, but it definitely
But
qualifies
it triggers
under
at 10,000.
all the
Triggers
other,
at 10,000.
yeah, more than a cut of a
Exactly.
certain size or fill of a certain size, all that stuff which disturbs it. And it's just discouraging, to walk by it, and drive by, whatever, and see the amount of disturbance. So I think there should be, we have a law that says, you need a,
I don't think
Pull
you're
this
getting,
permit.
I don't think you're getting any pushback on it. Because I know in the beginning, they started to, attempted to do it without any kind of, even a town building permit.
right.
And any kind of bond from the
So
town.
I think the
So-
planning board is entitled to get a response back as to, has the guy been requested to fill out a permit? Has his engineer been asked to fill out the permit? Where is the permit? And get a copy of the permit back to us.
I would also be curious, did the town ever get a bond from him? Would you please look into that?
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Please, would you please check and see the
Did you
bonding
have-
and the permitting?
You're on the board when they did it.
Yes, I know, but whether or not he actually,
I don't think, was it conditioned? I don't.
I don't recall offhand,
Okay.
but the bylaw, I think, under the NIPSI's, well, anyway, Mark, could you do me a favor? Could you do us a favor, the board a favor, and track that down, see where it
Yes.
stands? Because that has been, once again, it's the most beautifully square-cut hole I've ever seen. How the guy did it, if you look at it, it's almost a sculpture in there.
That's
And,
gonna be the back wall of his.
It's pretty good. And I do recall when the gentleman sat here and he said, no, he wouldn't have to blast, he felt he didn't have to do any of
I
that.
wanna see that.
I also am curious, and I feel strongly that the neighbor there may be in a position where, and rightfully so, they may be upset about what's happening in their
Right.
side yard.
This is an absolute perfect example of, if you look at the findings we just read, which was so precisely covered under site plan review,
Right.
that the lack of that level, because we didn't have Mark, you know, and
Yeah.
maybe didn't have things, is really lacking over there. And so I was very, very happy when I saw those
Mhm.
list of findings and then the list of conditions,
Mm-hmm.
because it easily follows what we're supposed to be thinking about as we
Right.
go through the
Yeah.
process.
It lays it out, and,
Yeah.
and
Amen.
And we should just have that as that's our goal all the time. You know,
Mhm.
when we look at a job, boom, 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 these are it's right there, black and white.
Right.
So that was good. I do
Thank you.
have one more thing. So, you're speaking of Vicksburg Square, okay?
Vicksburg Square, yes.
So I think it's Starzek, I'm not sure, I'll get the name wrong, but he has been out, you know, and advertising in the legal section about, and having open hearings with the town.
Yes.
Open meetings, focus groups, whatever you want to call them.
Yep.
And ultimately, he came in front of
He
us
came and sat and
very early.
tried to inform us of what they were planning.
Right,
yes.
but that same, basically the same presentation that he gave to us, he's given the same one again around the
Yes.
town, okay?
Yes.
And ultimately, we're gonna reach the point where we have to endorse that or not endorse it. So I'd just like to have it somewhere on our new business in the future that we
Okay.
decide as a board.
My understanding is, I believe they also brought it to the select board,
Right,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it didn't get canceled. It actually ran as an informational to the select board also.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just, he's been doing information, he's gonna be doing it for months,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
leading up to a
And there was also
Leading up to a
recently-
simultaneous town meeting,
Correct.
super town meeting vote.
super town.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we're gonna have to discuss that, because I think they come back to planning boards for some kind of approval or disapproval or.
Right, or
Yeah.
something, yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not
it-
exactly clear on it.
I'm not exactly, because it doesn't fit underneath our bylaw.
It's fascinating that.
We're not jurisdictional, is what I'm saying.
We're not jurisdictional.
Right.
Okay,
It's-
and I asked him a very pointed question, is I'm sure you've done the market research and you have somebody in mind. And the response I got was, no.
Right.
And here's a mixed use,
It's changed since then. I think they now have a couple of people they're talking to.
okay,
But that same question kept up again, and
Yeah.
I want to say that they're closer now to having real
Exactly.
people
I
involved.
mean, it's hard to describe, to do a traffic study for what?
Right.
50 units, you know, they're talking 500,000 square feet of space over there. There's a
It's
lot.
300 and something units.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that particular
It's
project, if it goes through and it's built and developed by mass development, Ayer gets the affordable housing benefit from that.
Yes.
That's a big factor.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Anything else under old business, Mr. Diskin?
I could come up with some, but I better
Nah,
not.
it's okay.
Have to get out of
The
here.
evening's young, Ken.
Under new business, I don't have anything that's ready for prime time. Board reorganization. When we were down a member of the board and operating as 4 members of the board, we lost our chair. At that point, I was vice chair and stepped into the role of acting chair. I went to the town manager and I said, I don't think it's fair to reorganize the board without an entire board sitting at the time. So in some ways, Jonathan, we waited for you to be here to be chair.
Oh, boy.
However, I'm looking around the table and we're missing a couple of people. So I think what we'll, with the permission of the board, is we need to keep an eye on board reorganization.
Yes.
We're going to do it annually anyway, coming up. I am thankful that you agreed, after talking to Mark and talking to me and talking to Ken and everybody about it, you've agreed to do this. Thank you very much. But I'd like to do it with all 5 members, with Sue and Julie in the room. Okay.
Agreed, and there is a thought that was, Mark, just in casual conversation, saying, you know, I hope as part of this reorganization, we consider the idea of alternates.
Alternates.
Yes.
Yes.
I've operated alternates. I've operated rotating. We have a board of 3 select people here in town from Belmont. You knew who was going to be the chair, just because the way they did it. You know, each one is capable of doing the job, and they just rotate through it
Mm-hmm.
as a matter of, and it's just the way they happen to accomplish it there. I'm perfectly happy with that also here. Mark's doing a great job. Mark and Heather are doing a really good job of helping us stay on the rails to a large extent. And applicants are coming much better prepared. Yes,
Mhm.
Ken, we kind of went through the last minute with this one, but I think it's important. This is something that's going to benefit a lot of the town. Having a pharmacy
Absolutely.
here in
I
town.
thought it was good.
Huge.
You know, I need the convenience of a pharmacy once a year. Really, the convenience of it, I can work it into my life. It'd be great to have something downtown when I'm on my way to and from something.
Absolutely.
And bringing in business is great. With that said, need a pharmacy now. Anything else? Our agenda has next on the agenda. I will entertain a motion. I'm smiling because Robert's Rules of Order say I can just adjourn the meeting because we're done with business.
That's right.
And we have always worked with a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
And it's non-discussable. Move to adjourn. I have a motion for adjourn. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Thank you.
Thanks for helping.
Robert's Rules of Order